Hello, everybody. Welcome to Wingcat Sports' Lions pregame. Probably making this a little bit too early because the game hasn't even happened yet. But Lions Bears play tonight when we're making this video, so we don't even know how the Bears look yet. But it should be an interesting game with Ben Johnson's return to Detroit happening in week 2 of the season. How will the Lions bounce back after their loss to the Packers? I know things were looking shaky in week 1 against a strong Packers defensive line, our O-line, trying to still figure out how they're playing together. There's still a lot that needs to come together before potentially the Lions come to their full potential.
Yeah, it's going to take a while. And it may, I was telling you guys last night, looking at their schedule, I mean, people better get used to maybe just.
We might have a bad year.
We might have a bad year.
And I was saying that at the beginning.
It all depends on if they can correct these mistakes in the trenches on both sides of the ball. I didn't. It was, and I'm not saying that. Like I said, they can't. I don't know, but it's going to take about, I think, 4 or 5 games for us to really have a good idea if this team's going to go anywhere.
The thing is, they have the talent. The issue is
they have the talent in everywhere other than the lines.
Well, that's the thing. So when you look at everything, how is Hutchinson going to play, right? He was almost non-existent in the game against the Packers. He had a couple pressures. But again, he's coming off a broken leg.
Right.
So how dynamic is he going to be right away? He's still, even though, we've seen the videos of him practicing, him playing, how effective is he going to be? You gave nobody on the other side of any relevance. Yes, Marcus Davenport's there, but I didn't even hear anything about his name. I heard nobody on.
We're hearing the rumblings because, in all reality, more people are going to be pointing the finger at Brad Holmes that he did not sign Zadarius Smith, who they could have. And the Eagles signed him for a very reasonable contract. So we could have done that.
But we
could have signed Zeitler too. Both of them. We could have had both of them, and it would have really kind of hindered the damage done.
Honestly, when you look at this offensive line, you probably should have started Ratledge at center and just kept Glasgow right at guard.
I don't know if that would have made any difference.
It might have not, but you at least kept Glasgow in a position he's familiar with, even though, yes, he's familiar with center. Give Ratledge the time to learn center this year. If this year is not going to be the greatest year, not calling it off already, but if this year's not going to be the greatest year, then that's how it's going to be.
I don't know. I kind of see what they're doing. They don't want to put a rookie next to a rookie.
And that's probably
for all
true,
intents and purposes, Mahogany's a rookie. This is his first year really being a starter. So I look at him as a rookie too. And you're going to, but it's going to take a few games for these guys to gel.
Yeah.
And so I'm thinking around game 5, we can make a decision. They're looking, I hope they beat the Bears. I hope they do. I have no clue. I can't sit there and tell you that I have any confidence.
I can't say anything until I see the game tonight. I can't give you a confirm on how well it's going. Right. Obviously, I'm going to give it to the Lions either way because it is the home opener. I think they still have the talent. The Bears are still going to be figuring themselves out somewhat. I think they're going to be better than they were last year, but we'll see what Ben Johnson brings. It could go anywhere.
But a lot of it's emotion. A lot of it's just you're going to work your ass off. And the Bears are not going to be up for any game more than next week.
No.
This coming week. Ben, you don't think Ben Johnson wants to come back to Detroit and shove it up everyone's ass? He does. And I just think it's very possible we start off 0-3.
There's a possibility. And again, when you look at it, they're giving it to Detroit 4.5 favorites, 61% chance to win. If the Bears can replicate what the Packers did in shutting down the rushing game, then yeah, we're screwed. Jared Goff's a good quarterback, but the Lions' bread and butter is the running game. And both running backs were held under 50 yards, under 25. Montgomery led with 25 yards. So it's going to be an issue if they can shut down the rushing attack. Do I think they will? We will see. But at the end of the day, this game could literally go either way. Again, we are very realistic here uh, when we talk about stuff. So it could go either way. I'm still going to say the Lions are probably going to end up winning. It's probably going to be close. It could go either. It could go anywhere though. It could be a catastrophe, but I don't think it's going to be like
that. It's very, very hard to predict what's going to happen. And like I said, if I seen this line this week, if I'm being honest, and all the emotion is going to be on the side of the Bears, I don't know how much it's going to be difficult, and I think I'm starting to see more 24-21 Bears. I hate to say that. I don't want to say that. I picked Green Bay to win.
It's going to go one of two.
But I thought we'd show up and at least make it a good game.
It's going to go one of two ways. Either we're going to blow them out because of all our anger for what happened this past week.
That could be. I hope so.
Or we are going to lose.
All the anger you have doesn't matter if your offensive. There is no, as complicated as football can be, and on one level, it's very simple on another level.
Yeah.
No matter what your game plan is, and all these people mad at Morton.
He's also. I don't know how long he's.
It doesn't matter if you can't block.
Yeah.
If you can't block, and you're talking about your entire interior offensive line was what you were saying rated.
3 out of your 5 are rated worst on the team. Yesterday.
Worst in the league, right?
I think it was I think it was just on the team in general. They were the worst players on the field yesterday.
Oh, okay. Well, so, yeah, I mean, it was not. I'm not going to say it's a learning process. The guy's a rookie, having to try to block people like Micah Parsons.
Well, no, it's Penny. Penny was on him.
Well, but Micah Parsons moved to the middle because
they did move in the middle. They didn't move into the middle. Penny held him pretty well, but once he was in the middle, it was done for.
And it didn't matter because Lucas Van Ness looked really good yesterday too against those guys.
And Gary.
And everybody. Their defensive line looked really good against our.
Like I said, but we're realistic. Again, I think it could go two ways. Either Dan Campbell's going to bring everything out and they're going to murder them, or Ben Johnson's going to get a victory.
And believe me,
it's going to be close.
After listening to Dan Campbell's press conference, this is the right guy for our team. I like Dan Campbell. I think he's perfect to coach our team. Brad Holmes to me is, he's taking kind of a step back for me. I just don't like how he comes off sometimes. He comes off very arrogant, and I don't care. And Zadarius Smith could have helped this team. And certainly Zeitler could have helped this team. He went to the Titans, and you could have gave him what he wanted. You could have given Smith what he wanted.
No, you didn't.
And you can't tell me that you would have rather had, like you said, a line where we're not either Christian Mahogany or Ratledge is not in there, and you're putting Zeitler at guard and maybe Ratledge on the other side, and with freaking Glasgow in the middle. That would be far better than what we saw yesterday.
Well, I think the main issue, like you said yesterday, you didn't play anybody in the preseason. So none of them got any experience.
There were 2 Pro Bowlers, 2 Pro Bowl offensive linemen that you lost.
Yep.
And you ain't going to replace that right away overnight and expect them to be even close to what you had last year.
Yep.
It's everything. Your whole offense runs around that line blocking.
But hopefully it goes better. But maybe we'll see how it goes. We'll see how the game goes. It could go, like I said. But we'll end it here. If you like what you see, like, comment, subscribe. Let us know what you think the Lions will do this week. And until next time, we'll see everybody soon.